Hello and thank you for watching this video. Today I'm sharing how I made two oils. The first one is carrot oil and the second one is tomatoes, onions and turmeric oil. This is the carrot that I used to make the carrot oil. The first thing I did was to scrape the back and then I washed it very well. Usually when the carrot comes from the market is pretty dirty or very dirty. And so I scrape the back and then wash it, and then I use this grater to grate the carrots into finer, smaller sizes. I grate it because I want to be able to increase the surface area so that it's easy to extract as much from the carrot as possible. This is the tomato and onions and turmeric. I had it drying for about 2 to 3 days, and so I'm just pouring it into a container and I added in some oil. I use, I think, 2 tomatoes and 1 onion, and then I added in some turmeric because I read somewhere that turmeric, onions and tomatoes can help with hyperpigmentation issues. And I was making that oil specifically for my aunt who is dealing with pigmentation issues. So this is the carrot. It had dried for just over 48 hours and it was really dry and crunchy feeling and sounding. And so what I did, I put it into a blender that was clean and dry. I made sure there was no water at all in the blender because I didn't want any form of moisture in the oil so that it doesn't spoil. So I poured the dried carrot in the blender and then I added in oil. I made sure that the oil was above the quantity of the carrot and then I blended it. The blending process allows the oil to be able to extract the essence of the carrot. If I had just put it in a container with the oil, that would still work. I would have to shake it intermittently, maybe every other day, which will probably take a bit longer than doing this. So I wanted to reduce the time it would take to get the oil. I also wanted to avoid using heat, and I wanted to extract as much from the carrot as possible. And that's why I decided to dry it. It was really dry, and then I blended it up with the oil in a clean, dry blender. So once I'd done that, I just poured it into a mason jar. I kept it aside. This is one of the reasons why I like buying products that come in jars, because you can always keep the jars and we use them. This is one of the jars I got when I used Smiley's mobile tomato products. So I poured the oil and the carrots in this jar and kept it aside for about a week. And I was shaking it every day. If I forgot to shake it one day, I usually would shake it the next day. And because the quantity is not that large, it was easy to shake it without having to use a dry spoon to stir it around. This is the tomatoes, onions and turmeric oil blend. So I basically followed the same process that I used for the carrot oil, and then just blending it up. If you want to read up about hyperpigmentation, one of the websites that I have read and I really like their content is Healthline, so I think you can check them out. So basically it's ready now. After blending, I'm going to cover it and keep it too. And usually when I do this with oils, I like to keep them for at least 1 week. So I kept these two for 1 week and I was shaking every other day or every day if I did remember, to make sure that the oils really got infused with the ingredients that were in it. So 2 weeks later, I actually had time on my hands, so I didn't keep this for 1 week, but I feel like even if I had left it for 1 week, I would have still been able to get really good oils from the content that I was using to infuse the oil, because I'd already blended them up anyways. So 1 week would have still been fine, but I had time and I had other things to do anyway, so I kept it for 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks of shaking and turning, it was time to sieve it, and I used a fine cloth for sieving to sieve it so that I can get as much from the oil in terms of the essence of the carrot. So I wanted some of it to still be able to, the ones that were finely blended to still be able to pass through, and then the ones that were big in size and the ones that would be grainy on the skin to be retained in the cloth so that I don't feel uncomfortable when I'm using the oil. So this is it after it has been sieved. I poured it into a jar, and the good thing about carrot oil is that, especially if you use olive oil as a carrier oil, you can use it for other purposes like marinating your fish if you're somebody who wants to be more careful about the kind of oil that you use for your food. And that's it, the carrot oil is ready. And then the next oil that I sieved was the tomato, onions and turmeric oil. You can see that the color is richer, or rather it is more red in color than the other oil, because obviously the tomato color is more bright than the carrot color in terms of intensity, and so that's why the colors are different. And this is it basically. So I'm going to send this over to my aunt after we've probably tried it at home and seen that it does indeed produce some benefits. So my advice to her would be to make sure that after she's had her bath in the evening, maybe, or in the morning, and washed her face, then she can just massage the oils into her face or other parts of her body where she's dealing with the pigmentation issues. Once again, thank you for watching. I find that this has been the best way that I have made carrot oil and extracted as much from the carrots as possible. I've actually made carrot oil before and I didn't get this much extract from it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you learned something. If you did, please remember to subscribe to this channel, leave a comment in the comment section, like this video, and also share.